and we will be moving into our third session, connecting China markets via Hong Kong. This session is curated by World Gold Council China. Allow me to introduce each of our moderator as well as panelists. So our moderator is Mr. Roland Wang, Regional CEO, World Gold Council China. Mr. Roland Wang leads the World Gold Council's work in mainland China, engaging with policy makers, institutions, and industry partners to support the healthy development of the gold market. He brings deep insight into Chinese gold demand, market structure, and the evolving role of China in global bullion flows. Joining Mr. Roland Wang in the panel discussion are, first and foremost, Mr. King Leung, Global Head of Financial Services, Fintech and Sustainability InvestHK. Mr. King Leung leads InvestHK's efforts to attract and support global financial institutions, fintech firms, and sustainability-focused businesses in Hong Kong. He works at the intersection of finance, innovation, and policy, helping to position Hong Kong as a leading international financial and innovation hub. Next, we have Ms. Jing, General Manager, Global Markets, Bank of China HK Limited. Ms. Jing oversees global markets activity at Bank of China Hong Kong, covering FX, rates, and precious metals solutions for clients. Her experience spans cross-border flows between mainland China and international markets, with a strong focus on how Hong Kong connects global investors to onshore opportunities. And finally, we have Mr. Wenbin Huang, founder and chairman, Point Gold Precious Metals. Mr. Wenbin Huang leads Point Gold, active in bullion trading and related services with a strong China and Hong Kong focus. He brings practical perspectives on physical gold flows, client demand, and the role of Hong Kong as a key conduit for connecting China's gold market with the rest of the world. And I will now hand over the time to Mr. Roland Wang, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. First of all, let me, on behalf of ourselves, thanks Albert Chang, especially from SPMA, for such a warm invitation for our panel. And of course, we have heard the great progress announcement by the Singapore government about the latest plan for their gold market. Now, this panel, we come to another interesting progress happened in Hong Kong market. I'm pretty sure that the industry is anxious to know more about it. And the objective of this session is to bring out how an integrated China market and Hong Kong can add value to the precious metal industry in APAC region. Hong Kong has a very vibrant ecosystem for gold bullion and is evolving into a new era. Hong Kong also acts as a crucial bridge between China with APAC region and the global market. Of course, sitting beside me, Mr. Leung, your presence as the global head of a financial service, fintech and sustainability at InvestHK. And Ms. Zhu, we know the Bank of China, Hong Kong, Bank of China also is a leading player in the global precious metals industry, and then also play a vital role at the latest gold market development in Hong Kong. Point Gold has the operation both in Hong Kong and mainland China. Let's welcome them to join the discussion. And the first question we're going to have, we're open to all panelists, is Hong Kong has long time served as a bridge between mainland China and international markets. And in precious metal markets, what is Hong Kong's core proposition today in the area of China connectivity, voting service, trading, banking, infrastructure, etc., or as a combination of all? So I will pass the question to Mr. Leung first. Mr. Leung.
Well, thanks so much. Again, thanks, Albert, for having us. Amazing events. Now, I guess a good way to think about the Hong Kong's value proposition is actually quite simple. Demand, demand, demand. So let me perhaps talk about the three levels of demand that may be obvious, but I just want to put some numbers behind them to put in context. Now, the first demand is, of course, I think many of us here in the audience are the experts in the gold industry, so you would all know that the wholesale demand or purchase of gold by China, in which Hong Kong is a major gateway. So therefore, the wholesale demand of gold flowing through Hong Kong, in case you're not aware. So last year, the year 2025, Hong Kong imported over 100 billion US dollar. To be exact, 105 billion US dollar of gold just last year. And of course, I think this is, if you translate that into tonnage, is about 1,000 tons. So this is decent size, so at the wholesale level. Now, at the next level, that is on the wealth management level. Now, also, in case you're not aware, recently there was this report published by BCG, the Boston Consulting Group, about wealth management or cross-border wealth management booking center. And for the first time in history, Hong Kong surpassed Switzerland. Now, and what does that mean? Well, actually, Hong Kong, we have an AUM, the asset under management, of 4.5 trillion US dollar, 4.5 trillion. Now, just think about it for a second. For the high net worths, the family offices, even institutional investors, now historically, they don't really, or they didn't really allocate a lot into gold as an asset class. So based on some surveys by the UBS and the JP Morgan alike in Hong Kong, actually about 1% of the wealth from the high net worths were allocated into gold. Now, but based on the international trend, we are looking at the new benchmark that we're looking at perhaps 10 to 15% allocated to gold as a more optimal asset allocation. So think about the 4.5 trillion times 10%. We're talking about 450 billion US dollar of buying power from the private sector of wealth management allocation. This is the second level of allocation, and also the demand for gold. Now, the third level is about the retail. Now, of course, I think many of you would know the brands, the Chai Tai Folk and the Chow Sang Sang and so on. They've been around forever. Now, and as a matter of fact, this is something that is, in some ways, people take for granted. It's something that are not appreciated. It's the fact that Hong Kong has no sales tax and no VAT and GST tax. As a result, actually quite a lot of people come to Hong Kong to buy gold, simply because the jewelry is simply not taxed at all. And that is also another major source of demand for Hong Kong. Now, I can go on and on about the supply side, but I'll just perhaps pause here to leave the other, the clearing system and the vaulting and so on, to later conversation.
Thanks, Mr. Leung. What I heard is demand, of course, and gateway. And of course, lastly is size of in all the areas for this. And now, Madam Zhu, please, do you have your comments on this?
Thank you. It's really my honor to be here. I think I'd like to answer your question, I'd like to share a certain data from the historical global, especially Hong Kong, the gold import and export. Hong Kong's gold market used to operate in a more transit, and I can call it a broker model. If we look at the old history data, especially take 2015, for instance, the import gold was actually re-exported right away to the other world, or the locations. Only about 6% of the gold was retained locally in Hong Kong. And if we look at 2025, actually the industry has been changed fundamentally. The re-export data, the ratio has been reduced from 94% to around, actually it's below 50%. So we have seen a lot of changes behind this, especially for Hong Kong has been enhancing its infrastructure and service challenges, service strengths. Take the Hong Kong International Airport, for instance. it has been kept enhancing its storage, transportation capabilities. We all know that in the executive policy address in 2024 and 2025, there are a lot of news about that. The Hong Kong airport is actually enhancing its precious metal warehouse depository capability, and there are a lot of other measurements, etc. And also Hong Kong Exchange, they announced recently to relaunch its Gold Future products. Actually it brought, gonna bring more solutions and risk mitigation products to the industry to make Hong Kong to become one of the, regional trading hub. And I think that another one of the important reasons behind this is the support and a collaboration with Shanghai Gold Exchange. We all know that in 2025, June, the Shanghai Gold Exchange activated its international board warehouse in Hong Kong, which actually simultaneously launched 2 renminbi-denominated contracts delivered in Hong Kong. So this is regarded one of the great milestones, which means that the investors can access to the renminbi-denominated contract in Hong Kong and can be delivered onshore and offshore. So I think all of these above have granted Hong Kong the capability to join the community and expand the overall capacity and liquidity for the whole region.
Thank you. I mean, definitely we have witnessed the new changes and new trends coming into the Hong Kong, and also we've got to pay attention that the new development got the strong support from the central government and all connected with the RMB related. That's a good progress. We would like to hear more in the coming questions. And now the last thing I will pass to Mr. Huang to comment about that. And your company, I know that has operation both in Hong Kong and China. And you definitely have a first-hand touch on this. Please, Mr. Huang.
大家上午好。结合我们自己在内地跟香港的一个实物金属市场的一个经验，我给大家说一下香港的这是核心的一个价值。我们觉得香港它有这个链通内地跟海外的一个桥梁，它有这个跨境的一个联通。第二个就是它的实物基础非常的完善，第三就是它的金融配套也是非常的完善。这3个是香港一个很大的一个优势。那么第一个，链接联通呢，因为国内就是中国大陆有很大的黄金的一个消费需求跟进口的需求。那么都是从香港这边来进行一些交易跟这个进口的。那么香港作为一个这么优越的一个地理位置，我们公司 Poigo 也是通过香港这么一个区域来进行一些进料加工、来料加工，来完成我们的一些业务。那么第二，香港呢，它有一个非常成熟的一个仓储跟物流体系，香港是一个自由港，所以呢，很多货物到香港是非常的便捷的。所以在这里呢，我们包括现在目前香港政府还在对仓储的进行扩容，他们要扩容到2000吨，然后也在做整个贵金属的一些交易，做了一些很多的服务跟基建的一些事情，所以呢，我觉得这会更加有利于接下来未来香港的一个现货的一个交易。第三呢，香港的这个金融体系配套非常的完善，很多主流的银行在香港都能提供很好的一些金融服务，例如清算啊，例如这个资金的融资啊，还有一些这个结汇等等的一些业务，所以我觉得这3个加在一起是香港一个非常非常大的一个优势。我们觉得我们也很幸运 Poigo 能够参与香港的这个贵金属的建设的环节之中。
Thank you, Mr. Huang. Of course, the infrastructure, the sound infrastructure is very crucial for any sustainable development of any markets. And of course, 2,000 tons of gold voting. We heard of this in the morning by the Vice Minister. And I'd like to pass the question to Mr. Leung, is that Hong Kong has spoken about strengthening the voting and the physical gold market infrastructure as part of the gold hub ambitions. How should the international market understand the role of Hong Kong as voting infrastructure plan, particularly in supporting trading, settlement, custody, and connecting between, with the mainland China market? So Mr. Leung, please.
Thanks so much, Roland. Well, I think I'd like to also go back to the demand thematic arguments. Now, at the end of the day, we are a very commercially driven city. And we don't believe in build and they will come, the kind of mindset. So the question is, for the 2,000 tons of capacity, where are we going to find the demand to fill them? So I'd like to perhaps use this angle to share with the audience where we are seeing the demand. Now let's start with the commercial demand that literally just took place a month ago. Now it's actually covered by a number of media, including the South China Morning Post, and that is the enormous amount of capital that have gone into Hong Kong that have bought the gold-backed ETFs in Hong Kong. And the amount was $732 million. $732 million US dollar, 1 month, April, okay? And they're all buying the gold ETFs issued in Hong Kong. Amazing, right? Now, the question is that as we continue to get, well, first of all, I don't expect we get a couple hundred millions, a billion every month. But even so, I mean, that trend is already very clear, as I just mentioned about the wealth management reallocation of assets. So we anticipate more and more allocation from the wealth side into ETFs. And then if the gold is back and stored in Hong Kong, this is a major source of the demand. They will take up the space at the vault, so, which is why we are very excited about the expansion of vaults. This is one. Now, and secondly, we are also looking at another dimension, and that is, okay, the vault is one thing, but then we are also seeing enormous amount of interest in the refinery segment, because obviously the Hong Kong has been playing a role for doing the refinery work for not just mainland China, but also the region. Now, the one thing that we notice is that at the moment, there are only 2 LBMA certified refineries in Hong Kong, the Metalor and Piraeus. Now, together, the 2 of them would account for up to 450 tons of capacity. It's great, well, but that's not enough. Because as we see more and more demand, then we need more refinery capacity. So this is a great opportunity for the other capable refinery players around the world to consider Hong Kong, but now that we are in this enormous growth stage. Now, at the same time, as we all know, I mean, there's a very rigorous process from LBMA that have probably taken another, who knows, like 5 years or so to be certified with the new location in Hong Kong. And for Hong Kong, we cannot wait. So that's why there are 2 developments that I'd like to also update the audience. Now, one of them is, you may have seen in media, in which the Hong Kong government, led by the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau, in some other jurisdiction, this is kind of the equivalent of the Ministry of Finance. So we have signed an agreements with our counterpart in Shenzhen. And that is essentially for us to have a closed loop system, so that you can imagine the raw gold coming from different parts of the world, okay, they have gone into Hong Kong, and then they need to be refined. But at the moment, the refineries are full. So then they can be shipped to Shenzhen, get refined by the LBMA certified refineries, and then in the closed loop system, shipped back to Hong Kong for further handling and business transactions and so on. So this is one thing that is already signed, and then is also under development. Now, another one that's also caught a lot of attention internationally, and that is the agreement signed between Hong Kong and also the Shanghai Gold Exchange. And that is something that really caught a lot of attention since they signed in January this year. Now, essentially, the vision is that the international vaults in Shanghai Gold Exchange, over time, of course, it will take time for us to work out the kinks and logistics, but then it will be interoperable with the vaults in Hong Kong. So it's not just the gold in Hong Kong, but also the international vault gold in Shanghai. So the two will be interoperable. So for us to create an even bigger liquidity. Now, as you can imagine, as you have more liquidity, they will compress and make the whole process more efficient. Then more people will be much more compelled to trade and transact in Hong Kong. So therefore, through this almost like flywheel, we're anticipating more and more gold being transacted in Hong Kong, particularly with other tools coming online, the gold futures from Hong Kong Stock Exchange and in the clearing system, making it more efficient, right? With the banking sector offering financing. And I've heard that there's no players in the gold leasing space trying to come into Hong Kong. So that all these things happening at the same time. But all these things can really, in a way, trace back to demand. Because Hong Kong has the demand, and everything else would fall into place. Thank you.
Thank you. We have heard another term, speed and speed. 5 years is too long. We strive for the near future's changes. Of course, we mentioned that Mr. Leung, you mentioned gold voted in Hong Kong, gold in and out of Hong Kong, gold served not for the region itself, but for the global customers. Thank you for your explanation. Of course, for development of the market, only have the demand, have the speed. It's not enough. Well, let's move to the second question to Madam Zhu. London still remains the global OTC clearing and settlement center, of course. And from a banking perspective, how do you see Hong Kong's connecting with London market in trading, settlement, liquidity, risk management, and potentially other precious metals over time? So your view, please.
Thank you for the question. I think London definitely is the largest global center for gold in terms of trading, clearing, and etc. And LBMA is leading the market, enhancing the transparency and liquidity for the whole community for sure. And these years we've been seeing a concerted, a lot of efforts to be achieved in this industry. As all we know that Asia has accounted for more than around 50% of the whole gold consumption on a yearly basis. Especially with the development of Asia market, especially in Hong Kong market, I think it will not only deepen the OTC liquidity, and as well as enhance the transparency in the trading hours before London comes in. And also, like, it gives more opportunity for the Hong Kong participants or Asia participants, more opportunity to take part in this developing and upholding the whole international standard. I think that it will give us more, enhance us more opportunity to keep on evolving the current standard and adapt to a changing world. And there are actually a lot of abundant market precedents for reference. Take the offshore RMB market, for instance, because Hong Kong has been regarded as the biggest offshore RMB hub with sufficient liquidity and sophisticated infrastructure, and provide full spectrum of the service to meet diversified needs. That is why Hong Kong has been regarded as the super connector to connect Hong Kong and mainland China with the world, and as well as London market for sure. And these years we've seen, because of the low yield of renminbi, and lots of international issuers actually come to Hong Kong, use renminbi as their direct financing currency. Not only the Chinese corporates and financial institutions, we do see supranationals, a lot of central banks and MNCs, especially companies from London, they come to Hong Kong to issue those bonds to enjoy the low yield. So I think all of these actually grant Hong Kong the special, advantages to expand its financing capacity to cover diversified assets, including especially the bullion market. That's why I think as a super connector, Hong Kong can definitely do more and contribute more to enhance the collaboration with London. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Definitely the global gold market is all connected, but Hong Kong has a unique position, especially connecting with the local demand, regional demand flow, of course, as well as the traded in RMB. That's put you in a very unique position. Thank you. We're expecting for, more news is coming out of Hong Kong market in the near future. Now my follow-up questions goes to Mr. Huang. From the physical market perspective, how can Hong Kong support the broader value chain, including refiners, traders, jewelers, investors, and probably mining companies, especially those seeking a better access to China-related demand and offshore financing? What's your view on this? Thanks.
其实刚才从宏观的角度上，刚才那个梁先生已经介绍了整个香港跟内地的一个联动。那么我是从我们自己公司的一个角度，因为我们来给您解释这个问题，因为我们本来也是在深圳跟香港两地都有业务，包括我们在香港也在建一个年产500吨的一个精炼厂。那么我们现在就是依托于香港做很多国际上的这些业务，我们以来料加工到深圳做 APPMC 的 kilobar， 然后再出口到香港，跟这些金融机构或者是跟这些贸易商合作。这个业务一直我们做的是比较顺畅的，这个是一个很大的一个优势，因为我们在深圳做的效率会包括我们的人工，这些都会比较有优势。第二个呢，就是我们在跟金融机构的合作上面呢，因为我们在中国大陆，我们也跟几十家金融机构有合作，我们在香港也跟大概有20几家的金融机构合作。那么我们可以自由选择在香港市，例如说我们企业需要借钱的话，我们可能会有一些这个跨境的一些离岸人民币的一些借贷呢，还是说本地的一些借，我们会根据我们的实际情况，也根据一些那个价格来定一个事。所以香港的这个金融体系非常的完善，可以帮企业解决很多你结算啊，你借钱啊，很多的这个业务，这也是香港的一个非常重要的一个金融基础。对，所以我觉得这些对我们企业是全方面的一个帮助。谢谢。
Thank you, Mr. Huang. We, as you mentioned, that the established financial infrastructure and support in the Hong Kong market is crucial for building up the global business. I remember that Albert mentioned in his speech, we're talking about the plan for 2030. That's about 5 years, right? So Mr. Leung also mentioned that 5 years is too long. we need a speedy development. Now, my last question is, if Hong Kong succeeds in its current gold market development plan, what would be the impact on the global bullion market by 2030? For instance, from the aspects of physical flows, liquidity, pricing influence, institution access to China, and or broader Asian market confidence, the strengthening connection between regional hubs like Hong Kong and Singapore, etc. So what's your view, Mr. Leung?
Well, in the interest of time, I would just point out 2 key perspectives. Now, first is about the clearing system that I think many of you probably have read in media. Now, of course, I think the clearing system is basically 100% Hong Kong government-owned company. But at the same time, if you look at the fine prints, we have invited over 10 international and mainland banks as the board members. And the company will be chaired by our secretary for financial services. And then the vice chair is actually a senior leader from the Shanghai Gold Exchange. So you can imagine just this board composition is representing the international nature of how we would like to function and also integrate with the international community. Now, so why do I say that? It's because while this company is responsible for doing the gold clearing, but actually this company is also connected to the banking system, the existing banking payment network. So the RTGS in Hong Kong. And it will be supported in multiple currencies. So therefore, I think we can see that this kind of multi-currency gold transaction will be operating in really high efficiency. There's also adhere to international standard that international investors feel very comfortable. Now, this is the first perspective about efficiency and also multi-currency. Now, the second is really think about, again, the demand I just mentioned. I just don't want to sort of underappreciate this fact because when we see that the example I just gave about wealth management, because globally, gold is still an underallocated asset. But since Hong Kong is a major wealth management hub, arguably the largest cross-border hub, then you can imagine all the private banks, the wealth managers, the banks and so on, everybody at the family offices, everybody is just putting so much energy, right, in promoting and educating the investors. So there'll be even more adoption of gold ownership. So that as this radiates, right, to other parts of the world, then gold as an asset class globally will become a much more important asset class. I think at the moment it's probably like 30 trillion market cap. So we anticipate that this will continue to grow based on the demand and also I think the whole global macro trend.
Yes, Mr. Zhu, please.
I think to answer your question, I'd like to answer in this way: how to make it successful is instead of if it's successful. I think how to make it successful is, first of all, definitely collaboration, because everybody, I think we all here for the goodness for develop of the bullion market. So collaboration definitely is one of the key. And look at the increasing size for the event over the past few years. And to be honest, I'm so amazed about my contact list that's been increasing these days in either both WhatsApp or WeChat. I believe that with everybody's collaboration, especially for Hong Kong and Singapore, all of those IFC cities in all countries in the ASEAN, in the Asia Pacific, definitely we have this privilege and advantage to do something. And secondly is I think that we need some fundamental change, especially this morning mentioned by David, the other speakers, whether we can really enhance gold as HQLA and whether we can use this as the other collateral payment medias, etc. These are something I think all needs to be, achieved gradually by all the people in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huang.
其实我觉得这个对我们来讲，对我们这个行业来讲，包括在座的所有人，其实我们有时候也不怕这个金价涨，也不怕这个金价跌。最怕就是没有人来关注这个市场，参与这个市场，所以我觉得不管是新加坡也好，香港也好，现在要大力发展这个贵金属这个行业，都是有利于这个贵金属在亚洲市场的一个发展。希望更多人能关注到这个产业来，然后能够参与进来，让这个市场更加活跃，然后大家都挣得盆满钵满。谢谢。
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I think we are close to the end of the session, but we heard the announcement by the government of Singapore, and then we heard what you said about the Hong Kong market's development plans, and we know that Hong Kong's, I don't know the exact frame, Mr. Leung, please correct me. Madam Zhu mentioned Hong Kong Connect might be a development plan. And Singapore has a Singapore Project Line 2 plan. And we all hope that the industry are anxious and expecting for the new development from these two markets. And we heard the word collaboration, we heard the word vision, we heard the word innovation. Let's wait for a more excited development of the gold market in this region. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you to our chair, Mr. Roland Wang, as well as our speakers, Mr. Leung, Ms. Du Jing, and Mr. Wenbin.